you. Hold on. I'm fucking up. Here we go.
Aloha.
Shout out Pearl Harbor, by the way.
Hello and welcome. We're back from theballerlifestyle.com. It's the Baller Lifestyle Podcast. My name is Brian Beckner. This is episode number 619 of the show. Thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate you. We love you. If you'd like to, please consider subscribing to our Patreon, patreon.com/theballerlifestyle podcast. We're talking about a whole bunch of stuff today in the bonus segment of the show, and it's like the newest starlet to take to OnlyFans. There's we've talked about this a lot on the show. The lady in Utah that wrote the book about how to deal with grief got sentenced to prison for killing her husband. Oh my God. Cave diving drownings. I believe we talked about cave diving. I remarked on a This American Life I listened to one time where they discussed there was a cave diving story that was awful, and then this week 5 people died while scuba diving in a cave. So this is all stuff we're going to talk about later that you can only hear if you listen to Patreon. Patreon.com/theballerlifestyle podcast. We appreciate you. We love you. I am joined now, as always, by the great Ed Daly. Ed, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
I'm doing good. There's 2 things going on here. We got a lot to get to, so I'm not gonna dilly dally here, but I'm as we started, I was in the middle of responding to, I got ripped off on an Instagram purchase. I get suckered, it's like they catch you in a low moment and you're like, this thing looks cool. And then you order it, right? And it's like 2 for 1 or whatever. And then you order it and they deliver it. And it's fucking sucks. It's cheaply made bullshit. And then you go, I want to send this back. And then they don't respond to the email. And then when they do respond to the email, finally, they're like, sure, you can send it back to Germany. You can send it back to Germany, where it came from. It didn't come from fucking Germany. It came from some fucking warehouse in the city of industry. But they're like, oh, yeah, you can return it to us to fucking Germany at your own expense. And you know who's to blame for this? Me, for being dumb. Like, don't buy some shit that you see an ad for. Okay, that's one thing. Second, okay, so that's it.
Wait,
I'm going to hit.
I got a
Go.
similar experience.
Tell me.
We had a dustbuster breakage maybe a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
I'm watching sports.
Yes.
Like one of these commercial type things comes on.
Yeah.
And this is the duck, vacuum. And this works 10 times what and it's $19.99 or whatever. And I was like, maybe it was $30 or something. I'm like, okay, let's give it a shot. It lasted like a month.
Ed, this is how stupid I am. I'm like, I need this item. As soon as you describe it, I'm like, oh, this sounds cool. you're telling me it's shitty. And I'm Googling right here, the horsepower duck gold edition, $35.99.
Yeah. So I was like,
it's a piece of shit.
It lasted like a month. Piece of shit. And it was crazy loud. It sucked.
Yeah.
It sucked in a million ways. But I just happened to be watching a basketball game and I was like, what are the odds?
Yeah. What are the odds that they could sell me the exact thing I'm looking for right now?
Yeah. Fuckers.
And it's this is capitalism, right? They need to keep churning out more shitty stuff that breaks. Right. So you have to keep buying. Because back in the day, they would buy a thing that you'd be like, oh, this is my great grandfather's waffle iron. Because it's made so well, it lasts forever. But we don't want to pay for shit like that.
There's a great old Chris Rock routine where he's like, they can make a spaceship that goes to the moon, but they can't. What was it, like a cutlass where the bumper doesn't fall off after 10,000 miles? Like, they're intentionally making these things terrible.
They do that on purpose. Okay, one more thing before we move on, and I'm going to cover this in the next bonus prize. So Ed and I, we're just going to preview it right now. But when I do the next bonus prize, I'm going to be covering the story because it's a local story. Ed, You got your cup of tea, your cuppa.
Yep.
Now, you made that for yourself, right?
I made a cup for Michelle as well.
Oh! You made one for Michelle as well.
Yeah. She drinks the mint tea. I drink Earl Grey.
You like an Earl Grey? Well, just because locally here, an Orange County judge dismisses indictment against doctor accused of poisoning her husband with Drano. Ed, she was putting little sips of Drano in his tea that she was making for him. So I'm just saying, like,
this reminds me of two things.
You tell me.
The movie Heathers,
Klaus
they
von
went
Bülow.
full,
Yeah.
movie Heathers, they went full on with Drano.
Great movie.
That might have been Shannon Doherty's death in that one. I think
she was one of the Heathers.
She was one of the Heathers.
Yeah.
And it also reminds me a little thing in Oz where they're putting little glass in the mob boss's meals, so he was slowly cutting himself up inside.
Yeah. That was what's his name, who's Mayhem from the Allstate commercials. Dean Winters. I only know his real name.
He was Ryan O'Reilly on
Ryan O'Reilly. Yes.
And
he's got to be
his slow brother Cyril O'Reilly.
Who's his real life brother?
Is it?
Yeah.
Who also played the dude who was the "How do you like them apples" in the beginning of Good Will Hunting?
Yes, same dude. And then in the there was a Kevin Smith movie where they parodized that scene. I think it was like Chasing Amy or something, or Dogma, where they parodized that scene and they used the same guy, the same guy to play the character. I'm just saying, be careful with the tea, Ed. All right, you make your own tea.
Right.
Yeah. Keep an eye on that
nobody looked
tea.
at this but me.
That's right. Smart. Just, you can't be too careful.
True.
You've been a loving marriage for a long time, but somebody could get her ear.
That's right. You never know.
She could start thinking there's a better life for her out there. You just got to be wary of that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about some people who died.
Just tell us who was dead now. Just tell us who was dead now. It's a sad segment.
Very sad.
And it will not be an update on who's alive. Nope. Let's get a tragic update.
Tragic update.
Cause that Daly has been keeping up on who just died. Cause we're about to hear from Ed on which celebrities are dead. So tell me who died.
Ed, whole fucking shitload of people died this week. Yeah.
The first one I may have killed, and I feel bad about it.
Oh.
Braves were wearing throwback hats, logo, whatever. And I said to a buddy, I go, you know what player I think of when I see that logo? And he goes, Dale Murphy. I go, no, Bob Horner.
Yeah.
What do you know? Like 2 days later, I haven't mentioned the name Bob Horner in 20 years.
Yeah.
And he died.
You fucking murdered his ass. You murdered Bob Horner's
He was
fat
a
ass.
hefty third base slugger in the 80s. And I was reading about him, and I remember this era. I didn't remember he was the one. He got screwed during free agency. The owners all colluded to not pay players.
Yeah.
And it was egregious enough because he was like a slugger on the market and couldn't get shit. And I think he went to Japan because he couldn't get paid here.
That's right. Yes.
And it was bad enough that when the lawsuits came out, he was awarded $7 million in the 80s.
That was a lot of money. Yeah.
But he was 68 years old. I don't know the cause.
68.
He was a portly gentleman.
He was fat. Him and Enos Cabell, I believe, were the named lawsuit guys when the MLBPA sued the owners because they were colluding. They're like, oh, we don't have to pay our free agents more. We just all agree not to sign each other's free agents, and then they'll just come back to us.
Rich guys club. We just can keep being rich and be
That's
assholes.
fine. Yeah, exactly. That's how it works. R.I.P. Bob Horner.
R.I.P. Grizz Chapman, 30 Rock actor, 52 years old. The death was confirmed by .com. It was like I read one of the articles and it was confirmed by his co-star so and so who played .com. I was like, wow.
I didn't realize Grizz was
they were
both.
Buddies. Apparently, he was a sweetheart of a man. He was a big dude.
Yeah,
52
big
years
dude.
old.
Oh man, that's pretty young.
Yeah, young, very sad.
Grizzin.com, great characters. 30 Rock, great show. Like,
Yeah, and
very
their
funny
little
show.
parts were really funny because they
Very.
were like the handlers of Tracy Jordan on the show,
Yeah.
and he was out of his mind, and they were like very,
Yeah, they were
calming
together.
presence.
Yeah, they would like give him stock tips and stuff.
Yeah.
He'd be like, "Oh, Grizz turned me on to got me into Apple early." You know, it's like you figure they were just muscle, but they were like trusted advisors.
Yeah, they were fun.
Yeah.
Very sad. Young R.I.P. Kyle Busch, NASCAR driver.
This is insane.
Excuse me, 41 years
Oh,
old.
you might have it. Yeah.
He had pneumonia for weeks, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't know how that.
He was
happened.
just like ignoring it, and I read one thing that said that it could have been the G forces of the car, because he kept driving. The G forces could have been pushing it down deeper into his lungs and like setting the infection worse. And the guy just couldn't, he just kept like pushing through it instead of recovering, and he fucking died. And now look, he wasn't the most handsome of dudes, but also he might not have been living the healthiest lifestyle overall. You got to let your body's immune system do its thing and like fight things off. And if you're burning the candle at both ends, I guess apparently 41-year-old dudes can die of pneumonia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very sad.
R.I.P. to Claude Lemieux, Canadians, Devils, Avalanche legend, 60. He died by suicide, and his family has already made a statement.
CTE.
We're donating his brain to be studied for CTE.
Yeah. Claude Lemieux, and look, it's Claude Lemieux. I mean, his legacy is that he's a real piece of shit because he smashed Chris Draper's face into the boards at one point, and like Chris Draper needed a new face. Like he tore his whole thing, like he smashed, like there's a ledge there at the glass,
right?
And he smashed the dude's face. But also very sad. 60 years old, took his own life. R.I.P. Yeah.
R.I.P. to the great Clarence B. Jones, civil rights activist who helped write MLK's "I Have a Dream" speech, 95.
Yeah.
There were a handful of people like behind the scenes that were so important to that whole thing.
Yeah,
like Bayard Rustin, and there were guys that, and they're all pretty much gone now, but he was kind of the last of the greats.
Who was the guy, the Tennessee Senator John Lewis, that was like, he wanted to go, he wanted to be more militant and go harder, and they had to like tone things down. And,
Lewis and Hosea Williams, they were like, let's go smash some heads. But it was a collective effort that like, these are all great people that they're kind of
yes, for sure.
R.I.P. Marshall Lucas. That last name is important. Note Marshall Lucas, Oscar-winning Star Wars editor and ex-wife of George, 80 years old. She died of cancer.
Yeah. All the best editors are women, by the way. All your favorite movies have been edited by women.
Sally Menke for the Tarantino movies. Didn't she die hiking?
Was it on The Devil's Backbone?
It was like that kind of thing. I'm pretty sure like Tarantino's main editor died hiking in California.
Keep reading.
R.I.P. Sherman Lewis. He was an ex-Jet player who won 4 Super Bowls as an NFL coach on Bill Walsh's 49ers staff, and I think one on Holmgren's Packers. He was 83 years old.
R.I.P. Yeah. He was kind of like a Tex Winter. Like,
you always knew his name. Sherman Lewis is doing stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
R.I.P. Clarence Carter. He was a soul singer known for the song Backdoor Santa. And if people don't know Backdoor Santa, Christmas in Hollis. That's the same background music.
Oh yeah, that's a bop.
It was a very horny Christmas song, Backdoor Santa, and he was also known for a song called Strokin'. He was 90. Some of these guys are super horny.
So many, and we never really thought about it. Like, Mama Told Me Not to Come. Like, there's so many of these songs. Like from back in the day that were just all about, rock and roll, right? Like, who are we? Like, we should have kind of paid attention. The whole thing's about fucking, it's like started because it's about fucking. Ed Menke went hiking on the morning of September 27th, 2010 with a friend and her dog. After about an hour, her friend left because she started to feel unwell due to the heat. Oh, her friend had a shit. The friend had a shit. That's why you leave a hike like that. Is you're like, oh my God, I got a shit.
Right.
When Menke Right. Touch and caught. When Mankey didn't return home, her friends notified the police. Search dogs, a Los Angeles Police Department helicopter, and patrol officers spent hours searching Griffith Park for her. Her locked car was found in a parking lot of the park on September 28th, 2010. Mankey's body was discovered at the bottom of a ravine. Her dog was found alive, sitting beside her body.
Oh.
Fucking loyal ass dog. The coroner later determined that Mankey's death was heat related, Ed. As temperatures had reached 130. What are we doing hiking in 113?
The Mother Nature is telling you to stay inside.
Yeah, it's not safe to be out in that, much less hiking. Okay, Ed, who else died?
Howard Fandrick, famous tennis journalist, 55, cancer.
Yep.
Barney Frank, Massachusetts congressman who regulated the too big financial industry,
Right.
86. He was a out gay man.
He was the first.
And he, in his dying days, really didn't do well by his legacy. He started trashing the left.
Yeah, right. He's like,
we're moving too far left. It's like, buddy, we're in fucking Nazi Germany.
Yeah, we got to be more in the middle. We got to be more like Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
You know, but that's what we need.
He did some commendable stuff with Wall Street.
Yes, he did. Yes.
RP Manny Fernandez, 2-time Super Bowl winning D tackle on the Dolphins, 79.
Sure.
We're probably done with these guys, the undefeated dudes.
Thank God. Mercury Morris
it's
dead.
A bit much. Yeah.
Nick Bonacani.
I think we've done all of them in recent years.
Yeah, this is back when like high school level players were playing in the NFL. Like, let's calm, and they played 14 games, and the biggest guy was 214 pounds. Like, let's calm the fuck down.
R.I.P. Christian Trend. He was a wellness coach. Died at 40.
Yeah.
Died after a cleansing ceremony, which included a detox treatment containing the poisonous skin of an Amazonian tree frog. Wellness coach.
It's detoxification. You're
adding toxins.
Yeah, you're like, I need more Drano in my tea.
Yeah,
you know, I'm going through a detoxification ceremony that includes drinking bleach, like insane.
Now I know we just talked about an influencer, but I hope you're sitting down. We have another influencer who has died. Gabrielle Ganley.
Yeah.
Brazilian bodybuilder and fitness influencer, 22.
These bodybuilder dudes, like, really, they push the limits, you know? Like, it's like they're like, my dad ignored me so much that I have to get so jacked that he notices. He'll be like, look at your big muscles, Gabrielle. And yes, I'm going to die by 40 or 22, but it's worth it. So my dad sees my muscles.
This is someone that I don't think anybody felt good feelings about. Mark Furman, the disgraced O.J. Simpson detective, 74.
Yeah.
He was Johnny Cochran's dream.
Oh, he was. Yeah.
Just all these reports of him dropping N-bomb and doing sloppy police work. He's not good.
He sat for like he was interviewed for a screenplay where he talked just like a real cop talks. Because look, cops, they are racist. Like, this is like, it's not a racist cop. It's just a cop. He's just a regular ass cop being racist. But most of them don't record themselves in a microphone, like saying the N-word and saying how they like to plant evidence and stuff. And he did that. And then they played it at the fucking trial.
It wasn't a good look.
It wasn't. No, it was a bad look. And, you know, did he plant the glove? Of course not. But like, we're talking reasonable doubt, you know, and look, and what we learned from that documentary, the OJ documentary, is that it didn't matter anyway. It didn't matter. Furman. They were going to get one for themselves. They were due.
There were a lot of Mark Furmans that led to this inevitable decision.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Like, you know, obviously Gates, but there are millions of these guys.
Million. Yep.
And then the shocking death of the week, and unfortunately her name was not released to the public, but 88-year-old Carnival cruise guest who accidentally drove her mobility scooter off a pier in the Bahamas.
I mean, do you think she was strapped into it, Ed? Like,
yeah, by her kids. Hey,
right.
This inheritance money. Just put a brick on the little knob.
I mean, it's just right there. It's like somebody could have dove in and grabbed grandma. Like,
those mobility scooters
Yeah.
for octogenarians do not move at the pace of like
slow.
a Lime scooter or something. These
Yeah.
things, you could just jog and catch up to it.
Yeah, hold up, grandma. We're coming right after. Like, you know, yeah. Look, cruises, they're death sentence. Okay, Ed, let's talk some sports.
My name is Brian. They call me the other guy.
Shit.
I host a podcast show. I'll give hetero life a try. If you see something on my hand that makes you think I'm not a man, it's just my cool rings, you see.
They're as sparkly as can be.
My old Troy on
DVD. Ed, what's popping in the world of sports-related topics?
Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott was spotted hanging out with his ex's almost bridesmaid at a PBR event, professional bull riding event.
It's just savage.
Okay.
This is savagery.
I went to a PBR event once in my life. It was at MSG. They offered us some deal because we have Knicks tickets. And I was like, I'd like to see. I thought it was like rodeo. I thought I'd see some people getting rocked.
Yeah.
It was, I'll just say, there's a better chance of me having sex with Dak Prescott than going to another PBR event. It was fucking awful. It was so boring. They did a whole presentation. I think we just talked about him last week or 2 weeks ago. They did a whole presentation about Neil McDonough.
Oh,
the actor that wouldn't.
Oh, he doesn't make out. He doesn't make out on screen. Yeah.
But he made a speech. I'm like, this is New York City, and this dude's promoting some like religious movie or
like
something.
a Daily Wire type movie. Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is this? It was terrible. But beyond the politics and this and that, it just like, so the Garden, you know, it's a basketball floor and they fill it with dirt and everything.
Yeah.
But they let the bulls out of like one area and then they dance around. The guys jump off. Yeah. Most of them seem to make it without falling off. Like they're all skilled now.
What is the deal? It's 8 seconds. You got to go
8 seconds. There's a bell and then they just jump off.
Is it
judged? I couldn't tell how the scoring. Yeah, but like, but it doesn't mean you're like doing cooler stuff up there. I couldn't tell.
I know what it is.
What?
They rate the bulls. So some bulls are more badass than others. So it's like if you stay on longer to hog's breath, like that's better than lightning or something. Like it's whichever bull you get, I think, is better.
Don't the bulls doing get this tired? In New York City, they should have been explaining it better. We were just watching. We're like, what the fuck is this? It just was the same. But they occupied like a quarter of the Garden floor, like because it's they just kind of zip around in the corner and then they exit the same area. There was like, and you could see where all the track marks.
It wasn't like the whole court.
No, they don't go everywhere. They just kind of bounce around the one part and then they leave. It was so boring.
That's lame.
It was like really lame. And I was like, are we going to get like kids on sheep trying to, you know, like how you see footage of that stuff?
Yes.
I wanted to see somebody get bounced. Yeah, nothing.
Yeah. Or the one where they do the buck and bronco, which is a horse. They don't do that?
Nothing. It was just these bulls and the same shit. And it was in the quarter of the Garden floor. And I was like, this is some bullshit.
Now they put that strap has something to do with it. They put the strap on their nuts and it pisses them off. But I think they also like snap it with a rubber band or something to really piss them off right on the nuts.
It's a bad vibe. And also, Dak Prescott, come on.
Yeah. Did you see many guys that look like Dak Prescott at the PBR event? Ed?
Surprisingly enough.
The
vibe was very different from when I go to a Knicks game.
Yeah, mostly
to a PBR.
Mostly people from Jersey, I would guess.
Yeah,
and upstate,
Long Island.
Look, Dak, you make like $40 million a year. You need it. You clearly need it, right? You're like what? Like just go outside of one of your ex-fiance's friends. You know, like
Right.
this. I get, because remember something pop. They had, and this is another problem. They had a combined bachelorette party, like in the Bahamas.
All the flags.
Yes, and something popped off there that they had to end their engagement, and then everyone left, but Dak stayed in the Bahamas. So he continued, like the party wasn't over for Dak.
No.
So I imagine it's, you know, this has something to do with it, which is like, you know, it's maybe just expand your horizons a little bit, Dak.
The Tampa Bay Rays shortstop Wander Franco. He was found criminally responsible in the sexual abuse of the minor case in the DR.
Mm.
Here's the twist.
Yeah.
He will not spend any time in prison.
Look, I said this from day one. This might not be illegal there. Like, this is like, they got different rules. And I mean, so apparently it is quasi illegal, but it's not
It's illegal-ish.
Yeah, it's not like a go to jail situation.
Like jaywalking.
Yeah. Yes. In the DR, when you have sex with a 14-year-old, that's just like jaywalk. It's jaywalking. There's no way he comes back. He's got to go to like the Mexican League or something, right?
Yeah, I think he's doing the Trevor Bauer route for the rest of his life.
Yeah,
I just
Long
think
Island
this
Ducks.
is not a vibe that
No.
any major league team really wants. Even though this dude was like in his second year was a
So
superstar.
good. Yeah, he was so good. Yeah, they locked him up. The Rays are smart. They'll they'll buy out all your free agency years to keep you around. They'll
And they're
overpay
still doing
early.
well. Still doing well,
Yeah.
even though their best player is
Yes.
never going to play again. Like they're
Right.
just a great organization.
Yeah, good organization. Yeah.
The Padres trolled Bryce Harper's toothbrushing habit on their scoreboard. So he actually like put out a social media post where he talked about his like oral hygiene skills or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then he showed how he brushed his teeth. He squirts the toothpaste tube in his mouth,
Damn it.
then brings the toothbrush in.
I wasn't ready for that, Ed. I'll be honest.
Like every toothpaste commercial, like when you're watching cartoons when
Yeah.
you're 4,
Yeah.
they show what happens with like
They
where you're supposed to
put way too much on it, and they give it
way
that
too much, and
twist.
They do this
Yeah.
twist. And I remember
Yeah.
one time when I was a kid, I was trying to do the twist, and that was
Everyone's trying to do that.
too much.
It's impossible. The toothpaste falls right off the fucking brush. That's big crest.
Yeah,
Trying
big
to get you to use more. If you read the directions, it says use like a fucking dime size,
Yeah.
a pea size.
Yeah.
You don't need. And look, toothpaste itself, it's a work, right? It's the brushing. It's the action of the brushing. You don't need some fucking fake
Well, it helps
soap
with
on
the
your
breath.
teeth.
It helps with the breath.
Does it? Does it help with the breath? Just having a clean mouth helps with the breath. I don't know. I mean, I use toothpaste, of course.
Okay, you were getting me a little worried.
Could you imagine? But now, what's this guy doing? Because there's a video of it. Like, he thinks this is normal. I did like, Ed, though, and you would have liked this too, I'm sure. He takes out the paste and he goes right there from the bottom. Like he's serious about it. He does not. He's not wasting any of that paste.
Not like my kids just grabbing in the middle.
God,
Madness.
I've had relationships with people like this that were just fucking wild with the way they fucking squeezed the toothpaste out.
He's efficient that way, but it is the most inefficient way to brush your teeth by just putting a glob in your mouth.
And it's also very phallic. You know, he's like, he puts the fucking tube into his mouth and squeezes it into his mouth. And then what? You like collect it with the brush? Because it needs to be on the brush.
Right.
Are you a double?
Did he even show him? Did he wet the toothbrush? I'm hoping so.
Didn't. So that's what I was going to ask you. Of course, he had to have wet it. But I was going to ask you, some people are double wetters. They pre-wet, then they paste, then they re-wet, which doesn't make sense to me. But is that something is that a way you operate?
I'm a one. Well, I don't do the double wet.
I'm a one wetter. Wetter. And so a lot of times, and I think I've discussed this here, I brush in the shower. Like it's when I'm taking my nighttime shower, you know, it's like right before bed. I get the right now I got a fake Sonicare. Sorry to digress, but I have ADHD. I've burned out multiple Sonicares in my life, Ed. And they used to be $200. And I think they're like $60 now. But I'm like, fuck this. I'm not burning out another Sonicare. So I went on Amazon, speaking of cheap products, and I just typed in like Sonicare replacement or something. And there's fucking one just like it for $10.
Right. And even if that breaks
Who gives a fuck?
half the way into what a regular Sonic carrot, that's worth it.
I'm up. So I pre-paste it and I put it on the top of the shower. Then I get in that shower and I'm doing my routine. I get in, shampoo the hair, then I go for the brush. Because if I'm brushing in the shower, Ed, I know I'm going to do a nice long brush. I'm not in a rush to get through the teeth brushing. So I'm hitting all the teeth. I'm going all around. I'm getting the backs. I just do a nice long brushing if I do it in the shower. But I just wet it the one time. I'm not a pre-wetter. A lot of people are pre-wetters, which makes no sense to me.
I don't look at pre-wetters the same way I'd look at a Bryce Harper.
Good point.
It's fine. It just seems like you can just wet it once and it's going to work.
He should be trolled for this. And also, I believe Bryce Harper was raised in the Church of the Latter-day Saints. I believe there is more. Right. There's Mormonism in his background. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I don't know if they have a special way
when
of brushing
they give you
teeth.
the pack of magic underwear, they say, and this is how you brush your teeth.
Right.
We don't know.
Squeeze in.
We don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's
maybe
disgusting.
some clarification from our LDS listeners.
He should, if we have an look, I need an LDS doctor. Yeah.
Maybe that dude Ross, who I went to the baseball game with.
And you had to drink all those beers by yourself, Ed.
Yeah.
I mean, what a mensch. You show up with 3 frosty fucking Coors Lights for your clients. Like you're taking them to a game, you're hosting them, Ed. You're like,
I made the mistake of not asking him their religion before we go to a baseball game.
Yeah. Here's a beer, buddy. And no, I'm good with Sprite. I'll have a Sprite.
No.
Yeah.
No. Remember, I made the mistake. Then I go, "Oh, do you want me to get you a Coke?" And he's like, "As I said, we're Mormon. No caffeine." I was like, "Oh, Sprite, water."
I think something's changed because Mormons are big on this like soda culture, Ed, where they have like these soda bars. They're big in Utah,
but
where
no caffeine.
I know. I think they have caffeine. They can't have hot caffeine, so they can't have hot.
This was
coffee.
A long time ago, but I don't know.
I think it changed.
He looked at me like I had 14 eyes. He was like,
"Yeah,
I said a Mormon." I was like,
I need a Mormon to call in. Mormon 949-464-TBLS. Leave us a voicemail and maybe we interview you on the show because we have lots of questions about Mormonism that we would love for you to answer, including the caffeine thing.
Closer Edwin Diaz appeared in a cockfighting tournament graphic wearing his Dodgers uniform. I never got clarification if the Dodgers gave this the green light.
I can't imagine that they're supporting.
Given that I think it's been illegal in Puerto Rico. Yeah. I think he's Puerto Rican, right?
Puerto Rican, yeah.
I think it's been illegal there for quite some time now.
Yeah, it is. It's not, you don't really, it's also weird to wear your work uniform to a separate thing.
Yeah.
It's like that time Mike Piazza was on Baywatch and he was taking swings in his jersey and hat. He was standing on the beach, like practicing his swing, like in with his feet in the water. And Pamela Anderson cruised up and she's like, "Hey, aren't you Mike Piazza?" Not that it's just it. Yeah, it's weird to be swinging a baseball bat on the beach. You could injure somebody, dangerous, but also you're wearing your uniform at number 31 Mike Piazza at the beach.
Taylor Swift wouldn't perform a concert wearing a Taylor Swift t-shirt.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't wear the thing of you to the thing. That's actually kind of crazy. And, Edwin Diaz, his eyes are very close together. So it's concerning. Luckily, the Dodgers are only on the hook for 3 years for this guy. So, hopefully, and he's got loose bodies in his elbow. So, could be one and done.
I hate to bring up something that's going to make everyone lose their appetite, but Joey Chestnut is back. We are heading to the summer months. Joey Chestnut will defend his hot dog title while wearing an ankle bracelet.
Yeah.
Making it the most American thing of all time.
You gonna, yeah, that's true, Ed. That's a really good point. You gonna take the boys out to get on the 6 train and head out there, Ed?
We were talking about, we should make, my oldest will be off to college. And I was like, we should make a little pilgrimage to Coney Island.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool going out there.
Yeah.
But I will be nowhere close to that on the 4th of July.
I mean, that's the time to go, Ed. head on out there. You see, no Kobayashi, obviously, but like still,
no need to be there if Kobayashi's not there.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's actually a good point. Look, this Joey Chestnut, like we got to be done with this fucking guy. Like, what is going on? And he's like getting in bar fights and stuff. Also, he's still only like 37 years old. Like you look at him and you're like, oh man, this guy's been living, he's been working in the coal mine for all these years. Yeah. And
he looks
he's
rough
a young
for 58.
man. Yes. Very rough. Okay, Ed, let's do some emails.
He's so easy to hate. Your time he likes to waste. His calls are far from great. His calls are far from great. He's such a stupid fuck. He seems down on his luck. His voicemails really suck. His voicemails really suck. No one's enjoying him. He's so annoying.
I like this part best. So fucking boring. Just very cutting.
Just
And worthless. He's boring and worthless.
And he's even worse than fish. His thoughts are useless shit.
Miss that guy, old man. Well, I wonder if he's still with us. I wonder how he brushes his teeth. Okay, a couple of emails here. This one was really, I remember this. Hi, Brian and Ed. My guidance for full consistency has been minimal over the last month or so. However, on Sunday evening, I received an enlightening tweet from my Twitter follow. I think it is enlightening, but I'm not really sure, to be honest. I need help from you two to understand how this knowledge will help with my consistency. My Twitter follow posted, quote, wonder what the late David Stern would say if he was told one day there would be a game, #Game7, featuring a road team wearing whites and the home team wearing their traditional road darks. Oh, and the superstar would be wearing hot pink sneakers while a Hall of Famer wears light blue. Thanks for your help. That's from G-Fish. Of course, he's talking about our dear friend Jay Stu, who clutches his pearls over just anything that's different than it used to be.
Is this playing a character? Does he really think that this is like, you shouldn't do this?
Tough to know, right?
You never know. Fucking Andy Kaufman of our time.
Yeah, it's tough to know because he'll never really let you in on the joke. Now, I can't help but I've been there because I'll be sitting there watching the game and I'll be watching a guy at the plate and I'll be like, oh my God, this guy's only got 15 seconds to make the pitch. I wonder what Bowie Kuhn would think if he tuned into the game right now. And I wonder what Kennesaw Mountain Landis would think about these fucking City Connects that all the teams wear on Friday nights. I mean,
Ubroth approve that uniform?
Who gives a flying fuck about
he's pining
any of
for
that?
the days of David Stern fining a player? That's
what is, and I can't help but wonder if, it just feels to me, Ed, that and I don't want to talk out of school here. It just feels like there tends to be a racial component here to the guys that don't celebrate the right way.
Don't do it the right way.
They're not wearing the right color shoes. What would David Stern, as if David Stern is the fucking the ultimate judge of what's right and wrong on a fucking, he was a fucking dickhead lawyer. Who gives a fuck what David Stern would have thought? He was 5'2". Who gives a fuck?
I never cared what he had to say.
Never. Don't give a shit at all. And because he made the guys wear suit. You had to wear a suit when you came to the game. He's wanted to put. Who gives a look? It wasn't the white guys he was telling to wear suits.
It was Allen Iverson that made him have the dress code.
Yes,
it was Iverson.
It was Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson, who would go on the road and not bring a suitcase, and he would just buy new clothes. And every time he'd go to the mall, he's like, "Why do I need to bring shit? I'll just get new shit when I go there." Anyway, thank you for that, G-Fish. No clarity for you there. I don't know. And yeah, well, maybe we'll never find out. Oh, here's a blast from the past, Ed. Hello, fellas. Long time no email. I just wanted to drop a line and say I am alive and well and tell you that Texas has been so much better for me than Kansas. It's just we're supposed to be like keeping tabs on where Kennard lives now. I am team current and wanted to know if you all are gonna ever bring back the woman who did dick ratings for the audience.
Probably not.
Probably not. She didn't feel like she got enough shine for that. To which I say, I've done fucking 600 of these and nobody's ever complimented shit that I've done. So like, this is the game. Also, I never found out who won the watch. Oh, that was Coach Solo. R.I.P. Remember the Luke Leone, Ed?
Oh, the Luke Leone.
The beautiful watch I got for doing a commercial that I gave away to dear friend of the show, Coach Solo, who's a Patreon subscriber. Coach Solo, he let me know a while back that the watch, because he would wear that watch, Ed. He lives in Austin, and I actually went to Austin.
He was wearing the Luke Leone?
And I met up with Coach Solo, and he fucking was wearing that Luke Leone proudly. He would wear it all the time. Even his girlfriend was like, dude, come on, what's up with this watch? And I'm like, it's a sweet watch. And he would wear that watch, but he let me know a while back that the Luke Leone, it just stopped.
He went the way of the duck dustbuster.
No, yeah. Yes. I never found out who won the watch. It was Coach Solo. I did enter the contest. Lastly, I have a conundrum for Ed. Whose French dick would he look at? Misspelled. Wembanyama from the Spurs. Oh, that Wembanyama? Oh, you mean the one from the Spurs?
He's talking about the one on the Pacers?
Like, you gotta thank God he clarified. Wembanyama from the Spurs or the French Prime Minister Macron. That's from our friend Kennard.
Emmanuel Macron?
I knew that was wrong. Lecron.
I don't know. Maybe there was somebody in history named Lecron.
Lecron or
he was right before Charles de Gaulle.
Oh, I gotta find the fucking song. I haven't played it in so long. Oh, where the fuck is it? Is it on the first page? Oh, Daly's choice right here.
Daly's choice, it's a choice I make. Daly's choice, watch me shiver while you shake.
Quick game that we play here. Ed walks up to a urinal. At either adjacent urinal is a well-known person. In this case, it's the 7'5" Victor Wembanyama, and it's the married to his teacher from when he was 14-year-old, president of France, Emmanuel Macron. Whose dick are you checking out, Ed? This is a tough one. God damn. This is a real Daly's choice here.
I don't know if there's ever been 100% lean one way.
Yeah.
In one of these.
It's got, yeah.
There have been some 95s.
What's going on there? Like,
come
on.
7'5".
7'5". Yeah.
It's Wemby all day. And I hope he goes home sad in the finals. Yeah. Which I'll be attending game 4.
Oh, amazing. I saw look, this Wemby guy. This is fucking like what do you do with this guy? Like, he does it all. He's making half quarters.
He's an amazing player.
Yeah.
And he's he
blocking
I've
shots.
Seen him give some great interviews, like a lot to like about him.
English. Yeah.
The one thing that I get annoyed with is when the announcers fawn over his dunks.
Well, of course.
He can dunk standing up. Yeah, like, he does amazing things, but everything else, fine, you can talk about it.
Yeah.
But it's hard for him to not dunk if he's close to the basket.
Yeah.
They make a big deal of the dunks. And that part I'm like, you can just say somebody's great, but without going over the top.
Yeah. Like the shot blocking, right? Like, of course he's going to be good at that. That's the one thing that you expect him to be good at. But it's like he brings the ball up the floor like a point. Like, he can dribble. He can take dudes off the dribble. He can shoot from the outside. Like that. There are more impressive things.
And he's a smart ball player. There's a lot of things he does well. But do not fawn over his dunks. Just be like, oh, they let him get in position where he can just turn around and dunk.
Yeah. I saw a video of Victor Wembanyama. He was like buying a car. He was trying to buy a car, and it was like he was way too big. He was way too big for the car, right? Like
yeah,
it was
like every car.
Yeah, it was like a sports car, and he was way too big, and they showed him trying to get into it, and he was just way too huge. But there's one thing I never want to see, and it's a basketball player's feet. And like you don't want look. We've talked about this with Lou Bega. You know, like there's a Aflac commercial on the Super Bowl with Lou Bega in it. Like, first of all, who's casting Lou Bega in anything? Like, you know, a little bit of Monica, a little less Lou Bega in my commercials. But Lou Bega's there, and he's doing an Aflac commercial, and Lou Bega's disgusting feet are on display. Like, who wants to see Lou Bega's toes? Nobody. But I see that. So you don't want to see a basketball player's feet because they're just disgusting. Under no circumstances should anybody Google LeBron James' feet right now because you will gag.
I don't want to know.
But this Wembanyama, he shows him getting in the car and he's wearing slides. And usually these guys are wearing socks with slides, but he wasn't. And I expected his feet to be really repulsive, but they weren't that bad. But I will say, the fucking slides were like 2 inches too long for his giant feet. You would expect the toes and the heels to be hanging off any kind of footwear that he'd be wearing because his feet are so goddamn long. But Nike somehow made some shoes that are too big for Victor Wembanyama. So what I'm saying to you is, Ed, maybe we're a little bit surprised by what he's working with. Because proportionally, even if it's huge, it could not be that big, you know? What, the guy's 7'5".
I have big feet. I would say it doesn't always follow the.
Ed wears a size 13. Yes.
Yeah, I do not have an equivalent size 13, Don. I'll just say that. Leave it at that.
Okay, I think this we're just gonna put out the whole. I don't know. We'll see. That should be it for that. Will depend on how much I decide to edit this later. That should be it for the regular show. We move to the Patreon portion of the show now.
Well, it's time for Now Sports segment on the Baller Lifestyle Podcast. Now Sports. I'm talking about the segment now. Now Sports segment. Oh.
Ed, what is going on in the world of things that are not, in fact, sports?
Well, so I read two different things. The video of it makes it seem like it wasn't in Chambers, but anyway, a cop who had loud sex with a judge in Chambers, ID'd as the deputy chief with the Atlanta police. And I sent you a clip of the loud sex. Now, my first thought was, is he a loud comer or is this?
Oh, let's. This is.
You're
great,
about to find out who's the loud one, the judge or the cop.
Let's find out. Hold on. Whoa. Ed. I mean,
doesn't sound like he's a loud comer.
No. It's a lady judge? It's a lady judge, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Wait, it says in a hotel.
Yes. The first headline I read was it was in Chambers.
Yeah.
But still in a hotel.
Yeah.
You know what? You're a woman with a reputation you're trying to keep. Like, that's performative. There's nobody that needs to be that loud.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
it is
crazy.
You're way down the hallway, and it's almost like, because look, you're in a room and things are muffled in the room by definition of you being within walls. Unless you're like projecting towards the door on purpose, you can maybe hear noises, but it wouldn't be that clear down because this person's coming from way down the hallway in the video.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a bit much.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Brad Pitt sued by Penis Cream Company in a bizarre lawsuit.
Now,
I feel like Brad Pitt
beautiful
wouldn't
penis.
have something to. Yeah. Sure.
No, he's not doing. You're saying he's my. Well, you know how these guys do. Now they do commercials stateside, but back in the day, there was a movie star would never be seen in an American commercial, but they would do them in Japan because the money was so. Yes, the money was so good. Do you think Brad Pitt's over in Japan doing dick cream commercials? Let's find out. The makers of a high-end penis cream. Oh no, it's paywalled. are accusing Brad Pitt of being a dick by changing the name of his own care line to something allegedly similar. Oh yeah, Brad Pitt really wants to associate his beautiful, perfect, wrinkleless skin at 63 years old with your fucking slimy dick cream company.
Right.
Get the fuck out of here. This is clout chasing. They're trying to get on some of Brad Pitt's beautiful penis clout. We're not having it here on this show.
Now, the next one, the headline is good, but I have no idea who this person is.
Oh, okay.
Brandy Glanville thinks she has a sexually transmitted ringworm in her throat amid ongoing health issues. Who's Brandy Glanville?
I believe she's a real housewife from the Real Housewives franchise of Beverly Hills. And she's just one of those people. And look, I miss my calling because I would have been great at this. There's people that they do a reality show and then their whole life is just being on more reality shows all the time. And it's like just
the guy's running for mayor in Los Angeles, right?
Yes. The guy's running for mayor. A big surprise, by the way. The lady mayor who sucks of LA is promoting this guy. Like they found out that her campaign, it has been elevating this guy because they think he's easy to beat. Remember around 2016, somebody else had this same great idea where they use their DNC contacts with MSNBC and they're like, more clips of this guy. More, you got to talk about this one guy more. Remember that? Remember how that worked out?
Yeah. We're still kind of dealing with it.
Yeah, same guy, same type of thing. And this guy's been elevated. Same type of job. Whoa, this chick looks like shit. The ringworm didn't do this to her face, did it?
Yeah, she looks pretty bad.
Ringworm is like a fungus, right? It's like an infection.
Yeah, I think
that you get on your skin. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills alum Brandy Glanville is opening up about another alarming health concern, this time involving what she believes may be a sexually transmitted fungal infection. Oh, boy,
well, she is signaling that she's giving of herself.
Yeah, that's true. She's letting people know. Yeah.
Generous.
During a recent episode of her Brandy Glanville Unfiltered podcast, the 53, click on this and look at the picture, Ed.
Okay. Because clearly it's the first line says where she's from, and I didn't even click on that. So
yeah, the 53 years old. No. She looks like Waylon Flowers' madam.
She does.
She looks 153 years old.
70.
Yes. Told adult film star Lisa Ann, what a world that we're living in, that this reality lady has her own podcast where she's telling an adult film star about her throat fungus. After a recent relationship with a man she described as heavily involved in wrestling.
Just America on top of America with this story.
It's just too much, Ed. It's just too much. What else is going on? It's
just let you follow up and this trial must have been quick because I feel like it wasn't long ago we talked about that she was charged. Utah woman who wrote a book on grief got life without parole for killing her husband. So this must have been a very quick.
Yeah.
Like all the evidence must have been there.
It was. Yeah, I think we talked about this because remember
ChatGPT stuff.
I don't remember that part, but she tried twice. Right? And remember the reason they got her is because he had told like family members, hey, I think Brenda tried to get me with that because she made him his special cocktail. There used to be this guy, he was married to a witch, Darren Stevens, and he worked in the advertising industry. And one time, he worked for Larry Tate was his boss. And one time he was Dick York and another time he was Dick Sargent. And he'd come home from work and he had like a little bar.
And they made him go away.
Yeah, and Dick York was gay. And so Dick Sargent took over and he wasn't as good as Dick York. It was weird. They were both called Dick, but my grandpa was called Dick. Everybody in the 60s was called Dick instead of Richard, whatever. He would come home from work. And this is back when you didn't need two incomes, he just made enough at the advertising agency and they'd be having the Tates over for dinner. He'd have his boss over for dinner, but he'd come home, he'd kick those shoes off and he'd sit in his chair and his fine ass wife, who was a witch,
She had powers, and she was beautiful.
And he was always telling her not to use those powers.
Yeah, I never got it.
I'd be like,
Just even basic things. Like, I remember there was a Christmas episode where she just, wiggled her nose and a Christmas tree was there. And he's like, oh, why would you do that? And it's like, if you can just wiggle your nose and get a free Christmas tree without all the hassle, strapping it to your car and
unbelievable.
Why would you turn that down?
They didn't have SUVs back then, Ed. They had fucking big old Lincoln town cars. And how cute was she when she would wiggle that nose of hers? And then remember, her uncle would come by, and her uncle was played by Paul Lynde, the fucking great Paul. And you're like,
who just didn't find the right woman.
He never, the guy, maybe the most entertaining human that's ever lived.
He was awesome.
Go and look at Paul Lynde clips on YouTube. There's no more
Hollywood
naturally
Squares.
Funny human being than this Paul Lynde.
He also played Herman Munster's doctor.
He did. He played. That's right.
His glasses would always shatter when he was like looking at him.
He was the greatest guest star ever. He would be. But the point is, this Darren Stevens, he'd come home from work. Fucking hot ass wife would be there doing witch shit, making a roast. She'd make a roast. She'd serve him his martini. She'd make him. She knew how he liked his martini. She'd make him that martini every day. This Utah lady did the same thing, except she put Drano in the shit. She tried to kill him, and he lived. And then he's like, but I mean, fool me twice, Ed. Like Dante Stallworth never got on a second hot air balloon. Like
once I feel I've had a tainted cocktail.
Yes,
first of all, I'm probably arranging to exit the relationship.
That's right.
But I am not consuming anything that I am not opening myself.
You get a bad piece of salmon down at Felipe's on the corner. You're not running there the next weekend. Give me the salmon again.
The Kings had a taster because they weren't oblivious to the fact that people were trying to kill them.
I believe our man Putin's got a taster.
Sure.
Remember what the Sacramento Kings did to fucking Kobe Bryant's cheeseburger in the 1996 Western Conference Finals. Might have been 98. Either way, they food poisoned his ass because he got a room service cheeseburger.
Right. Also remember what Kobe Bryant did to his middle school daughter's teammate and her family. Oh, sorry. Back to the food.
I had forgotten about that, Ed. I'm glad you reminded me.
Also remember what he did to the towel girl.
The concierge. Let me show you around the hotel. He's like, I want to see a little bit more. I want to see the inside. All I'm saying is that this guy, Corey Richin, see, that's a real Mormon name, but they're drinking drinks, Ed. They have Mormon sounding names, and they're living in Utah. She gave him one tainted cocktail, and then he told his buddy, hey, I think my wife tried to kill me, and then he took another cocktail from him. That should have been her whole defense.
Right.
Like, joke's on him. Fool me twice.
Your Honor, I was just playing the role of Kevorkian. He clearly wanted this.
He wanted it. He begged me. What else, Ed?
Battlestar Galactica star Triffa Helfer becomes the latest celeb to join OnlyFans. It's so smart for these women.
It is.
Because Hollywood is cruel and kind of disposes of them.
You hit a certain age. You hit 37. And unless you're Julia Roberts, you're never working again. They're going to find another 28-year-old.
All of these, women of a certain age, they have guys that lusted after them when they were, there are people going to card shows and stuff to meet the people of Battlestar Galactica. She's like, I can make real money.
Yeah.
From my own home.
It's like their own personal Mr. Skin. Remember old Mr. Skin?
Yeah.
He would point out the spots in movies where you could see a titty. He'd be like, oh, there's a titty. And he had an encyclopedic
27-minute mark.
Yeah, he would know exactly when this happened. Look, I don't know. I never watched Battlestar Galactica because I'm not a huge nerd. Let's get a look at, a little skinny for me.
She's a little skinny, but she's pretty.
Yeah, she's pretty. Look, if you're into that, I could see you being into that. Go for it. Have your thing with old Trisha
Also,
Helfer.
I'm guessing if you're watching a show like that, and somebody like her pops up on screen, you're going crazy for her.
Oh yeah, because there's not. Here she's got implants. Ed, there's a picture of her. They're out here loose. You know, they're floating in the breeze. Also, I think a lot of these chicks are like, I'm going on OnlyFans, and then they go on OnlyFans. They don't even show bush, Ed. They might just give you like one titty, you know. But you're in it
But
for
if
$10
you can
a
get
month,
paid,
right?
at least for a certain amount of time.
Yeah. And all it takes is you just got to do it. You know, you just need that. It's like an IPO, Ed. It's an IPO of your one titty. You go, I'm doing an initial public offering. You're going to get a nipple. And people are like, oh, I want to get in on that. $10. And you get 2 million guys to give you $10. I don't know math, Ed, but that's like $20 million.
At least
that's a lot.
$500 million.
Yes. So like, why not? Look, if I could just fucking put one fucking ball, so I could just take one picture of my balls and just put it out there and I could get $500,000. You think I wouldn't?
Hey.
Yeah. Have a look at these balls, you know? Like whatever.
Sure.
Good for her.
Yeah, I salute anyone, and
Yes.
I think
Show those
this
titties.
is the move. Hollywood is done with you. Okay,
You're
well,
right.
there's horny guys that would still love to jack off to you.
Who's the MAGA chick from Euphoria that's somehow Sweeney. Somehow
She'll reach that stage.
Oh yeah. Somehow Justin Bieber's handler has moved over and is now Sydney Sweeney's handler, Scooter something.
Uh-huh.
He's sucked her into his fucking tractor beam. Look, her time is up here. Like she did it, you know, like she needs to be thinking about the second act because it is over. You hit fucking 31 years old. Hollywood is done with your ass. There's going to be a new.
It's not done with her yet.
ingenue.
There's still some heat
You
on
know
her.
what I mean? You know
But
what I mean.
it's the end is sooner than everybody realizes.
That's right. It is. It comes quick. You better get that back. That's why my man, The Rock, you know, The Rock, the most inspiring human being ever to live. He was doing a fucking movie a year, you know, or he's doing 3 movies a year. Right. Why? Because he knows there's a finite timeline on this shit.
Sign me up for Rampage. Sign me up for Jumanji.
Whatever.
Sign me up for whatever I need to do.
Whatever it takes. Give me that money.
Man. You know, it was late the other night. It was after a game, and I just wanted to watch something that I didn't have to concentrate on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And HBO Max had Greenland 2 starring our friend Jerry Butts.
I never heard of that. Oh, this is where he saves the environment.
Yeah. Well, this is a sequel to that nobody needs.
Yeah. Wait,
I miss the old days of Jerry Butts.
Is this the one where he's a pilot that crash lands?
No, that's Plane.
Oh, Plane.
That one was good.
Of course. Oh yeah, of course it was.
This one was just like boring. They're like trudging through Greenland, like looking for a safe space, and he's coughing a lot. It's bad.
No,
he hasn't been keeping himself in peak,
which is weird because you know, you wouldn't look. You look at him and he's so puffy. You're like, oh, this fucking Jerry. He likes to, you know, he's Scottish, so it's like, oh, he likes to have, you know, a nip of the Macallan every night. He's sober like 25 years. He's not. He's
got to be binge eating, man.
He's got carbs
because he was gorgeous, and he's not doing himself any favors.
Jerry Lasagna Butler, Jerry Ziti, you know, like that's what's going on there. Okay, what else, Ed?
We've talked about the underrated band, the Kinks.
Oh, great band.
Their guitarist Dave Davies confirmed the band once partied with John Wayne Gacy. He said he was so nice. You know, some anecdotes you could just keep that one to yourself.
I believe John Wayne Gacy did his work somewhere in Illinois, like outside Chicago. So and maybe they just had, you know, well, there's a famous story where the great Deborah Harry, Blondie, was picked up hitchhiking. She was hitchhiking in New York City, I believe. And she got it. It was a Volkswagen that picked her up, the people's car, Ed, that picked her up. And she hopped in and she noticed when she got in the car that there was no handle to open the door within the car. And I don't remember a surprise. I don't know the exact story. But somehow she was able to they hit a red light and she knew something was up and she was able to fucking escape the car. This was, I forget his name.
Bundy?
Yes, the real good looking killer. The one that you would die to be murdered by.
That's why he got away with so many crimes.
Too handsome.
Gorgeous.
Too handsome. Yeah. Ted Bundy once picked up Debbie Harry hitchhiking. Google it.
Oh.
Yeah.
A theory has emerged on how the 5 divers drowned in a cave.
Hold on. Can I offer my theory, Ed?
Yeah, sure.
Did it have anything to do with them scuba diving in caves?
Bingo.
Oh, really? I knew it. Just a good guess. Yeah.
What do you need? What do you need that for? Scuba dive where there's like lots of fish, where you can see lots
Fish
of
are
cool
beautiful.
stuff,
Yeah.
reefs.
Yeah. How about a snorkel where the fucking air is right up there? I'll just take a little air in my snorkel and I'll go down. I'll take a look.
I
and then I'll
remember
go back up to the air. The air's right there.
doing it not too far from Miami, doing the snorkeling right by a reef, and it was beautiful.
Beautiful. All the fish are nibbling on the reef.
Yeah, like really close to you. It's
the
great.
reef is a living thing, Ed. The
And
reef
then
is as alive as the fish.
I remember as a boy, we saw a barracuda like I don't know, 20 feet away, and the guy's like, "Oh, don't worry about that." I was like, "No, I'm kind of worried."
They sharp ass teeth on a bear.
Yeah.
It's a fucking wild animal.
And they're showing their teeth.
Yeah.
When they're coming at like I was spooked.
No thanks.
Got back in the boat after that.
Let's not scuba dive in caves. And also, I can't remember, were we talking about this? And that led me to tell the story of the This American Life that I listened to, where 2 guys died. One guy died in a cave, and then his buddy had to go down there. Oh no, it was body retrieving that brought it up. His buddy had to go down there to get it. He's like, I got to go get Darren. We got to plan a rescue for Darren. Oh, Darren's dead ass body preserved in the fucking depths of a fucking dark cave. And what happened to the other guy? He dies.
Right.
As soon as we talk about that, it fucking happens again.
It's
here.
Like I got to go down there to bring him back to life.
No, he's dead.
Leave him.
What do we need is this dead body worship. And I know you talked about this, Ed. Like, what are we doing with our dead bodies here? Burn it.
Yeah.
Dispose of it. What we're wasting land. There's valuable land out there. You know how we feel about land. Yellowstone's all about land.
Sure.
You got this nice land, and you're just digging holes in land to put dead bodies in.
He died doing what he loved, and he's there for that's where his body eternally rests.
Yeah, you know how people get there? Because what do? You burn him, and then what do? You put him in the ocean.
Right.
You put his burn ass body in the ocean. He's already
there forever.
Yeah, then you go and guess who else is there? You. Now you're there. You're both there.
Now you have 2 bodies down there.
That's a lot of people drowning in a cave. But like, fuck, what are you fucking doing in a cave under the ocean? That's just like, it doesn't make any sense.
A lot can go wrong.
Yeah.
Finally, a very disturbing story.
Yeah.
99-year-old Boy Meets World star.
99.
But what I know him from is the voice of Kit, William Daniels.
Yeah.
He and his wife, Bonnie Bartlett, 96, have detailed the rules of their open marriage. 99 and 96?
Yeah.
How horny do you have to be that you're still like, and then who's buying what you're selling at 99?
No, that's a good point. Like who? Well, I mean, we got to read it. Boy Meets World, indeed. William Daniels, 99, and Bonnie Bartlett, 96. Celebrating their 7. He looks great. Yeah.
But come on.
75th winner. It's funny. The press will pick up on something and make more of it than it was. There was never any discussion as to what we're going to do. But in 75 years, the 2 of you together, it would be abnormal if you weren't occasionally attracted to other people. Ed, you're in a pretty long-term marriage.
Yeah.
And you did. I mean,
About to
you
hit
did get
26-year marriage.
You did get a free pass that one time at the Jack Shack. Yeah. In Thailand.
To subpar results.
Bartland added that there have been times, both of us on both sides. Hold on, I got to scroll past all the ads. Oh my God. The actress explained that she and Daniel's best known. Okay. Bill and I never sit down to make rules. So they're just open to fuck, Ed. We never sit down and talk about these things. We just don't. We just live our lives. And if he's away for a year, he's away for a year.
Well, first of all, he wasn't doing a year away from Boy Meets World or Kit.
No. How much was this guy working? I think he was on St. Elsewhere as well.
Right. But still, like,
those
grueling 1-year shoots on St. Elsewhere.
no,
He's
come on.
just fucking. He's fucking everything.
The Little House. She was on Little House on the Prairie, Ed. So you know what that means. Michael Landon got a piece of that. The Little House.
French.
Yeah, Little House on the Prairie alum had previously revealed that the two had an open marriage, which was very painful and didn't work well. Well, look, 75 years, Ed. God bless it. Hopefully you and Michelle make it that long. You're going to have some ups and downs, 75 years. How could you not? That's a literal lifetime.
Whatever works for you. I just remember reading a Playboy interview with Rob Reiner back in the day.
Right,
and he talked about one of his marriages, like, early 70s or something. He's like, we tried an open marriage and it was a disaster. He's like, because not everybody's on the same page at the same time.
Yeah.
He's like, it's really tough to just be like, hey, I'm feeling like not you today.
Yeah, it is. I won't get too in depth on it, but I will say that, in limited experience along this lines, it's way better to just be totally in love with just one human being and just devoted to that person and completely into the love that you can have with another person. There's nothing more fulfilling. There's no amount of side pieces that can make you feel what it feels to be completely in love with one person. And I would let's leave it at that. And I would suggest that for everybody.
Get closer.
Don't do the open relationship thing. 4. That's not it.
We're about to rest in peace or something.
That was, I know. How come I can never, I don't know what things are called. We wrap it up there. We recorded a day. This is a daytime record. It feels a little different than a nighttime record, but we knocked it out. It's because we love you guys. There's a new bonus bri coming this week. Please check it out where I will talk about, I don't know. I'm going to talk about Joey Votto's second life. I'm going to talk about that lady that poisoned her husband with tea just a couple miles down the road here. For Ed Daly, my name is Brian Beckner. This has been episode 619 of the Baller Lifestyle Podcast. We will see you next week.
Goodbye.
That's what we do with Easy Ed Daly and the man Jay Stu and Brian Beckner.